Yeah. Hello, everyone. So we are live. So I'll start. Yeah. Yeah. Hello, everyone. So we are live. So I'll start. Yeah.
Yeah, we can all switch on our cameras. Yeah, thank you.
Can we mute? So we are live. So I'll start. Yeah.
Yeah, we can all switch on our cameras. Yeah, thank you.
Can we mute? So we are live. So I'll.
Country manager. Read that.
It's your country manager.
Yes.
If I may start, so if I would request all the panelists to please mute your mics for time being. Yeah, thank you. Hello and welcome everyone to another engaging session of the Organic Majlis. I'm your host, Shinu Pillai from GL Exhibitions, organizers of the 22nd edition of the Middle East Organic and Natural Products Expo, to be held at the Dubai World Trade Center from 18 to 20 November this year. Organic Majlis is a Middle East online community of exporters and importers of all things bio, natural, and organic. And the masterclass is a series of sector and country-focused sessions aimed at helping exporters, our audience, increase their business in the Middle East. And nothing better than learning the tips and tricks from the leaders of the industry, our panelists. The Middle East region is increasingly important in the South African agricultural trade. In 2023, Asia and Middle East accounted for 28% of South Africa's agricultural exports, the second largest region. If one focuses on the key economies in the Middle East, South Africa plays a peripheral role in agriculture markets. Saudi Arabia imported US $29.5 billion of agriculture products in 2022, according to the data from TradeMap. South Africa was an important exporter, accounting to but a smaller percentage of Saudi Arabian imports and ranking 31st in the agricultural importers list. Similarly, the UAE imported US $23.3 billion of agriculture products in 2022, with South Africa capturing 2% of the market share as the 16th largest supplier. Qatar, which imported US $3.9 billion of agriculture products in 2022, with South Africa playing, again, an important role, ranking 10th in the list of suppliers and with a 2% market share in Qatar's agriculture imports. In today's masterclass, we will hear from the region's top industry specialists about top strategies, challenges, and opportunities when opening new markets in the Middle East and North Africa region. Without any further delay, please allow me to introduce you to our panelists for today's session. Firstly, I would like to welcome Karen Swanepoel, Executive Director, Southern African Essential Oil Producer Association. Karen has been involved in many industry studies in the field of essential oil since year 2000. She has lectured at various universities in subjects botany, bioentrepreneurship, biotechnology, and environmental science. Karen has presented papers at Indigenous Land Use Forum since year 2000, and on international level at World Congress on Medicinal and Aromatic Plants, International Society of Essential Oils, Agribusiness in Sustainable Natural African Plant Product, Green Gold, South African Association of Botanists, African Crop Science, Agriculture and Training World Conference, Committee on Chemical Research Applied to World Needs, Industrial Crops and Rural Enterprises. That's a lot. I mean, I'm sure the list is long. She also has contributed to publications for the Department of Trade and Industry, Agriculture and Forestry, and ACTA Horticulture. Our next panelist, Mothapo Mate, Manager, Incentive Department, Trade, Industry, and Competition. Mothapo handles the key stakeholder engagement relations and promotion of the incentive schemes offered by the DTIC. Mr. Mothapo, welcome on board. Next up, we have Donnie Kruger, Trade Investment KZN. Donnie is a manager of the Houghton Office, Regional Representative Office for the Trade and Investment KwaZulu-Natal, and chairperson of the Nordic South African Business Association. Donnie Kruger holds a master's degree in urban and regional planning and is currently studying towards her PhD. Donnie has 2 professional qualifications, clinical dietitian and urban and regional planner, and close to 10 years of experience in international business development, and has successfully facilitated several projects, missions, and seminars in conjunction with the European Union delegation in South Africa and respective trade offices. Welcome, Donnie. Our next panelist is an ecological designer, project developer, and organizational architect, Matthew Perkis, Vice Chairman of South African Organic Sector Organization. Matthew is an expert in food system transformation, large-scale ecosystem restorations, and socio-economic development strategies. He is involved in a number of areas in the food and agribusiness sector with a focus on project design, training, certification, and supply chain development for alternative markets. Matthew, welcome to the session. Next up, we have Thando Matutu, business manager and agripreneur from South Africa. Thando Matutu is an agribusiness enthusiast, and his passion is to help others have more success in business of agriculture by providing valuable information within various agriculture sectors. His main strength lies in various operations of chicken farming and strongly believes in the future of agriculture as a vehicle of sustainable food security. Mr. Thando, welcome. Finally, allow me to introduce you to our moderator of the session, Mr. Daniel Motswani. Daniel is a social entrepreneur, innovator driven by passion and love for community development through oyster mushroom training, farming, and processing under a project titled Reindustrializing Communities Through Mushroom Farming, a project aimed to change the narrative of mushroom farming in Africa. He has capacitated over 1,000 community members across the country, majority being women and the youth, mainly in rural areas where many organizations are reluctant to go. Daniel is the first African to be invited to be a speaker at the International Mushroom Days event happening in New Delhi, India, during the month of October 2024. That is this month. Daniel wears many hats. He is founder and CEO of Afric Rising Trading, founder and chairman of Agro Processors Association of Southern Africa, head of Agriculture Division of National Small Business and Cooperative Association, and finally, country representative for Egyptian African Businessmen Association. So once again, I would like to welcome all my dear panelists to a really engaging session. And on the other side, we have got hundreds of exporters and suppliers from South Africa who would love to listen to you and probably find answers to some of the questions that they have. So without further ado, let me hand the session over to you, Mr. Daniel.
Thank you so much, Shino, Mr. Pillay, for this wonderful day that we all have been waiting for. to take us through, for us to go through the session, which is planned for today, and also as we are in preparation for the session of the exhibition that will be happening in Dubai on the 18th to the 20th at the Dubai Expo. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank God Almighty to give us this opportunity to engage and also to see ourselves at the end of the session having made great impact to our communities and to our exporters and all those that are willing, to be part of this exciting journey. Without really going too much into details, I would like to welcome all our speakers that are here today. And thank you, colleagues, for taking your time to be with us today, and also to make sure that we do the session together, and to actually make sure that we finally come up to a winning solution for us to take our products from the Southern African region into the MENA region. So I would like to start first by inviting our first speaker, who will also would like to wish farewell travels to London immediately after her presentation to us. Donnie Kruger from TIKZN, who will take us through what they do. What is going to happen is that every panelist will be given about 10 minutes or so to go through their presentation, to share with us what they do. And once we've done that, then all the panelists, then there will be some questions that will be coming from myself to each one of you. And then from there, we will engage with the people on the call, to ask questions. And then we will take questions maybe bit by bit, maybe 5 questions at a time. And then from there, we'll take over to finalizing the event with Matthew taking us through what to expect during the 18th to the 20th of November, and what they have achieved so far with that annual event that they host in Dubai. And then from there, we can then close up the session. So without further ado, I'll call Tony, Ms. Donnie Kruger from TIKZN to take on the stage. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Daniel. Just in terms of the presentation, do I have an opportunity to share presentation from my side, because I don't see sharing, right?
Yes, you have. Yes, you
not
are able to share your screen.
okay.
Yes, but also the Mr. Pillay, you've got Donnie's presentation, right?
Don't worry, I can share mine. No problem. Can you actually see it?
Okay, great. Yes, go.
Not
yet.
yet. Let me just check. Thank you. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
we can. Thank you. Yes. I see it's a very long one, so you just wrap up, check up on the most high level. Yeah. Yes.
No, sure, I can talk quickly. Thanks. And also, it's the amount of slides, but I'm going to talk through it quickly. I think what is important to note from KwaZulu-Natal, we've had a lot of interaction with the Middle East market. We've seen huge growth between trade and also investment inquiries. We recently also participated in the 30 Years of Diplomatic Relations seminar with the UAE especially. We've seen also companies visit our market in the livestock sector, actually opening up an office here. We are also members of what we call the World Logistics Passport Program, where we've partnered also with the UAE in terms of looking at logistics and upgrading infrastructure in our region to also ease the doing business part for exporters. So I'm just going to take you through who we are, just our economy, and how we can support as business, because I think that is what business really wants to know. But KwaZulu-Natal is the second largest economy in South Africa. We're very diversified. We are trying to position ourselves as the trade hub of the country. I think the reason why we're doing that is we are home to Durban Port, which is the largest container handling port. And we also have Richards Bay Port in our province, which is the deepest port in South Africa. And we have two major special economic zones, which I'll talk a bit more about. What is important in the statistics that I'm showing you now is you can see some of our main trading partners are the UAE as well. So important market for us, the Middle East. If you look at the South African products are very well received, I think, from a price competitive point of view, especially in terms of fast moving consumer goods and also our agricultural products. What makes us unique as a province, we're about the size, we always tell people we're about the size of Portugal, 600 kilometers of coastline, 94,361 square kilometers, 2 UNESCO World Heritage sites if you're considering visiting. We're the 11th largest economy on the continent as a province, and we contribute 16% to our national GDP. In terms of our airport connectivity, we have a provincial committee that actually looks at air routes flying into specific regions, and they are actually in the Middle East at the moment, lobbying for additional flights into our region because we believe that also increases business. This is our value proposition, but we've got a large labor pool skill, we've got excellent infrastructure, we have got the capacity to export. So I've mentioned that we are trying to position ourselves as the export leader because 65% of South Africa's containerized trade moves through our province. And also Richards Bay has got the largest coal terminal in the world, so a lot of bulk materials going out there. And it contributes about 4% of global exports of aluminium. Our strategic pillars, I think, which is important, looks at our industrial hubs. Our one special economic zone around our airport specifically focuses on automotive and also pharma and light industry, and especially agriculture. And it's right around our Aerotropolis, which is a purpose-planned project. Maritime, looking specifically at boat building and around Richards Bay at LNG gas terminals, environmental management in all our sectors, tourism, as I mentioned, and what I mentioned by radical economic transformation, I mean the creation of proper jobs. South Africa's got a high level of unemployment. It's a very busy slide, but just to show you our traditional sectors and then our new sectors of focus as well to grow the economy. And I think specifically within natural and organic products, a lot of opportunity in agricultural technology, cut flowers, medicinal products. Some of the products from our region include natural products like moringa, also looking at biomass and biofuels as well. This shows our top 10 KwaZulu-Natal import from the world. So there are a lot of imports coming into our region as well. And then our exports is a lot of export of bulk materials, but trying to diversify that as well. Agriculture, even though it's only about a 3% contribution to our provincial GDP, is a very important player. If you look at some of our major investments, you'll see companies like Nestle, which is a food company. These are some of the major companies represented in our region. And then our special economic zones, we've got the Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone. And the reason why these are important is because they are export processing zones. So they export duty-free. Corporate tax in these regions is also 15%. This area looks a lot at renewable and clean energy as well. And in Durban Trade-Port, which is around our airport, we have a cargo terminal, and also a region that then focuses on light industrial. And it's part of a master plan, which is a 60-year master plan to get investment into that region. Also a lot of agricultural activity. About us, how we can assist your business. I think we're part of a cluster of economic development agencies. What's unique is we're the only province with 2 provincial development banks. We have got a one-stop shop facility to help you with business and regulatory registrations. And then we have our different units, but in a nutshell, Our main job is to provide you with information for market entry. We've got really good search engines. It's to also brief you on business and regulatory conditions for exports. It is really also to, if you are setting up a facility within our export processing zones or one of our areas, we do assist with site identification. We facilitate incentives on your behalf as well. And then we do negotiations between public and private sector. And we have got certain feasibility mechanisms for business plans for feasibility, but then we also partner with a lot of our funding partners, whether it be venture capitalists, part of the Venture Capital Association, commercial banks, development finance institutions. So in a nutshell, it's really our job to try and see how we can help you do business in the province, whether you are, if you are looking at importing, to find a distributor for you, and then hopefully in the longer term, if the market is good, to supply, or if you are looking at exporting, getting you relevant exporters for specific products if you are looking to source from our region. We are hosting a massive investment conference on the 11th and 12th of November, an investment and trade conference. We hope to invite you to that as well. They think there will also be possibility for hybrid participation as well. But if you are an exporter, or if you are looking at exporting from our region or doing business, I think what is really important is looking at the local market conditions, looking at the cost of distribution and market entry, specifically looking at import tariffs, logistics and shipping costs, regulatory compliance. What is critical in the market is looking at cultural relevance and also brand perception and price sensitivity. Exchange rate management, it would be important to look at clever ways of doing it, like forward contracting or currency hedging, I think is an important aspect to look at. Competitive pricing. Don't just look at the region, look at the regional versus the global competition, and then do your comparative analysis around that as well. Payment terms and financing, I think that is important. And then looking at what you're spending on marketing in that market would be really important. Support that we have got available. We have got a search engine that is very good, that can sell you for your product. These are your top 10 markets within, globally within a region. These are the ones where you should focus, and it integrates data, real-time data from TradeMap and from a number of sources. So we really use that to also have a scientific approach, I think, to exporting. So that's us in a nutshell. We are the Investment and Trade Promotion Agency. We're here to help you do business in our province, to keep you here, to help grow, and then also to assist our exporters get into specific markets. I think the Middle East is a very interesting market for us at the moment, specifically looking at agricultural exports, livestock exports as well. And there's a lot of collaboration. I think one needs to look also at double taxation agreements that exist to really position your product, but I think there's a lot of potential. So thank you. That's us in a nutshell. Thank you, Daniel. And thank you for the opportunity. And we look forward to some engagement as well. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Tony. Yeah, you've done quite well, and we really know the work that you're doing. And I'm also, one of the beneficiaries of your program, as we have been discussing, and I believe that you guys are doing quite a great work within this industry. So thank you so much, and then we will be really, and we are quite excited that you do this.
Thanks very much. Thanks for the opportunity.
KZN into the UAE, and yes, and you may take off your screen, your presentation. And then, we're quite excited about the work that you're doing, because, in KZN, there's quite a lot of farmers that are doing quite a bit that needs your services, to take their products out of KZN into different markets, including that of the UAE. So thank you so much. I would like to take this opportunity to go on to our next speaker. I will invite Mr. Thando Matutu from Agripreneur SA to take us through. Guys, when you see me switching on my camera, then you know that you've got 3 seconds to wrap up. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mr. Thando.
Thanks, Daniel. I think they have my PowerPoint that side, so maybe they can do it. And also I'll try to be quick as possible, get to the main points. So maybe they
Thank you.
display my presentation. Or maybe must I?
Yes,
Okay.
Greg is saying, yeah, Greg, yeah, okay, great stuff. There we go.
Thanks. Thanks, colleagues. My name is Thando Matutu. I'm from Agripioneer SA. I'll be presenting a product, obviously, which is according to the theme, which is an organic fertilizer. So this product was developed due to the BRICS partnership between Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, right? And also Middle East, being mainly now going to be a partner of the BRICS Plus. So we developed this product was developed in the partnership because we represented the South African side of technology and innovation, and our main focus was in agriculture, and also to try to find a product that will meet with our needs now, particularly with a focus in the Eastern Cape and Limpopo, where there's a lot of soil erosion, dongas and things like that. So it was a approach to develop a product that can work in that area. Next slide, please. So this product has a very beneficiation for rejuvenation of the soil itself. So if the soil has suffered from natural disasters, the main point is to try to rejuvenate it, to make it have more water within the soil, and also use a lot of scientific way to try to put particles or microelements which are beneficial for the product itself. Next slide, please. So, as I explained, it's the main to rejuvenate the land, and it's mainly to have more produce. So the main point is to try to bring it here into South Africa. So the product now is currently available within the Aeropolis area, the OR Tambo Special Economic Zone. So that's where we distribute the product from within the country. We're only doing it's still in the test phase within South Africa. And the distribution partner there is Lafeld Agrochem with the small development section, which is agriculture, and we were pioneering that with Gorbesert. Next slide, please. So as we explained, in the countries that they've done the testing, right, they've seen various improvements, grain improvement by 25%, vegetable crops by 70%, and also grass has been very efficient in the countries where they did in Europe, Kazakhstan, Russia, and some Asian countries as well. Next slide, please. Okay. So we can see it has benefits because our main point was to try to see something that can rejuvenate. So obviously we went for something which is very eco-friendly, something that also can restore what has been damaged, and also can protect from future damages we've seen in the western side of the country. Sorry, in the eastern side of the country, there's been floods. So this product is very good for restoration after natural disasters and things like that. Next slide, please. As you see now, the certification, there's been various tests. There's been testing on the product. As we said, that was an initiative with the BRICS countries, and the main tests were done within Russia and the southeastern countries, and now introducing the product within the South African context, because particularly the history now, always the partner for fertilizer was always Germany, mainly Germany distribution some of their products within the market, but now it's introducing this organic product, which has within this short inception since 2002, has had some immense results within the continent. Main countries there within the continent is Ivory Coast and Equatorial Guinea. Next slide, please. as I explained before, it's mainly to restore and to rejuvenate the soil which has been damaged. Soil has been damaged from natural erosion, dongas that we've seen. As I said, we're targeting the Eastern Cape, particularly the Transkei, where there's a lot of land there, but it's not arable anymore because of soil erosion, overgrazing, and those type of things. So this product will be very good within that place, the Eastern Cape, within the Transkei. Next slide, please. Can we please go to slide 20? For the sake of time, can you please go to slide 20? Yes. So this is how we can use the product, right? The product is very easy and sustainable to use. So here in South Africa, we've devised a model where you can use first for small scale farmers. There's a kit where you can allow to even do a small hectare, two hectares of land to 3 or 4 hectares. We have a kit where we put together some of the partners within agriculture, and also gonna train. There's a training manual and system where we can see actually the plant. There's a system where we can see and train the people how to plant, etc. And organize at the end also organize value chain where you can be able to organize offtake for the various products. Next slide, please. Possibilities are immense because the developmental technology and this back and forth, as I said, that it's an initiative between us here in South Africa and Russian scientists. So we're trying to see how is it that we can grow the product. There's been immense interest from Mozambique and Zambia, and there's current programs, training programs of small scale farmers within the continent. Next slide, please. Yeah, so we choose this product because it's very easy to train someone to use it, starting from a small scale and then going also to a larger. And also in terms of policy, it will be very subsidized for the farmers, and also you'll be able to organize also the offtake agreements for them in order where actually they'll be able to after producing the crop, where they were able to take the crop. Next slide, please. I said that it's an exchange of technical expertise. So it's been highly recommended where it's been used, mainly Uzbekistan. It's been used also, as I explained, Equatorial Guinea, and also the southeastern countries. Next slide, please. Next slide. So in Equatorial Guinea, they found that cucumber, the production of the cucumber there increased immensely, and papaya as well. We're able to gain more fruits, the flowers, the leaves at a bigger size. The root itself was increased within the time. You can see that they were able to produce a greater yield of the fruit. It kept even the pests away without using pesticides. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yes, I explained that. Yes. And also pineapple, corn, banana had the same effects. All these tests were run recently, right? So the partnership came about, this initiative came about within the IMBRICS partnership. So this partnership consists of the municipalities, where usually BRICS always usually the BRICS countries, they make bilateral agreements nationally, but now the IMBRICS was able to have municipalities have agreements between the municipalities themselves, and also B2B agreements, you know, where you don't have to wait for governments to sign, but companies can sign with other companies, you know, B2B meetings, B2C. So it made it so much quicker. That's why we're able, even though this product is a fairly new product, but we're able to introduce and roll it out and do various tests within the short time of period, you know. Only was the test started maybe in 2002, but now in 2024, we're able to roll it out and test it out within the continent. Next slide, please. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
number two,
next slide, because others are not
yes, sir.
really. Let's go to the last slide. Yes. So yeah, for more information on the product itself and what is it that we are doing within the Zambia, Mozambique, and also the Eastern Cape Transkei area, you can contact me here, Agripreneur SA, Tandad Agripreneur SA. We are also in Rivonia, corner Rivonia and 3rd Avenue in Morningside, Gauteng, Johannesburg. So this is a very good product in terms of organic farming, and we believe that it can produce better crops for the UA market. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tando, Mr. Matutu, for that presentation. And yeah, we hope that, you know, this will also assist in terms of getting good quality crops that will be accredited, you know, for the UAE market. And I also wanted you to talk a little bit about what exactly Agripreneur, you know, space is doing, but we'll get to that at a later stage if we've got time. Thank you so much, Tando. And our next speaker will be Karen Swanepoel from SIOPA. We've worked with Karen for many years now, and she is one person that's very much passionate and also knowledgeable in the natural and organic production and producers through the essential oils that they're doing, and have achieved quite so much within this industry and also taking in products into different markets. So I'll hand over 10 minutes to Ms. Karen to take us through what they do. Thank you so much. Over to you, Karen.
Thank you very much, Daniel, and good day, everybody. I hope I'm audible. Can I just check? Can you see my slides?
Yes, we can, and we are audible. Thank you.
Oh, okay, great. Yes, thank you for this opportunity. I am representing a whole group of people, and originally we started in the year 2000 from the producers of South Africa, but we very quickly had to change it to Southern Africa, and I think it's a very good thing because now we can work together with our neighbors instead of working against them, and you know, together we can actually serve the markets. So this is what I'm just showing you, that is all the companies from all the countries and all the real faces, the people that are working together and pulling this cart of essential oils. It's relatively new in Southern Africa, but it's not new in the rest of the world. And I think the Mid-East have been there ages before us, and there's certain species that we can learn from them. And we definitely have some species of interest that we could export. We are always joking about this slide. We say we've got a taxi full and more, and a bus and a plane and a ship in every country with lots and lots of oils. Here we are, just to show you that what we are doing is working with the environment, working with the current climate change. So we have intercropping, and we like to have the producer meet the buyer directly. So we've got 200 members at all levels, from entrance right up to export level. There's a variety of species and products, all from natural origin. Most of them are going to go organic. Some of them are exporting what's already there. So we know that we really want to be sustainable, and we want to compete with our quality. I seem to... I'm trying to move my next slide. Here it is. This is the list of species that we are doing, but it's not just those. There's actually many more. Every day there's new species that are developed and that are getting into a level or into the volumes that we can actually export. So we've distinguished here between steam distilled and pressed oils. And again, distinguished between the indigenous and the exotic. On the exotic side, you might already have your supplies from Europe or from wherever, but we can, due to our climate variables, we can actually do a lot of the exotic species or the classic species right through the year. And then we've got the indigenous ones that is not available all over the world. And I'd just like to highlight some of them. You might know buchu, geranium, Libya, Cape chamomile, Artemisia, and helichrysum. Although there's other species as well in other countries, we are looking at a top 5 or a top 6. On the pressed oils, very proudly to tell you about marula oil with a lovely story to it, baobab with a beautiful chemical components. Kalahari melon, for me, is a drought survivor, it's a flood survivor, it's a crop that can grow in all our current provinces, and it is really something that can reduce poverty. Ximenia trichilia, it's new on the block, but very now popular in cosmetics, and of course the Manketi and the Mongongo. I'm not going to go through the rest, but you can welcome to have my presentation so you can see what else there is. If we look at only South Africa, you can see the balloons that it's not a one-man show. It is a group attempt. Everybody's working together towards a common goal. And this is the focus speeches that I've just mentioned, and this is where they are distributed. So if it's a problem in one side of the country, the rest of the country can actually supply to keep our foot in the door and to make sure that we will be sustainable suppliers. We have seen that there was a big demand from the farmers or from the producers to get more producers, and that's why we formed. And we are helping them with quite a lot of processes from planting to quality control, right into labeling and packaging and into the export component. I'm so glad there are people here on this platform that convince you about our ports, and we are really able to supply. This is the Kalahari melon I was talking about. You can see the abundance of it here. So we have a choice. We can either wild harvest it or we can plant it. It depends on the market so that we can stay in the supply chain and that we will be a stable supplier. It's already in finished products and it's a very safe product as well to use. We have baobab, our beautiful cosmetic oil, also used now for anti-aging. It's a really a very good safe oil also for babies. And this is what we do. We insist that our producers do an analysis so that the buyers know exactly what is the components that they are buying, what is the ranges. And for the two, marula and baobab, we've written standards for the South African Bureau of Standards. So we can actually control in-house before it leaves our shores. Then this is the exotic oils that we can produce in volumes. The rosemary, rose oil, tea tree, lemon-scented tea tree. We are very good suppliers in that. We are giving Australia a go at their own sport here. And then there's the Tajet, there's lavender, there's bluegrass, and of course rose geranium, which is indigenous, but it's also now a global crop. I just want to take you through a short tour of our producers. This is in Gauteng area. Very good units, very good technology, very good quality. They are producing quite a number of the species that I've mentioned. Then there's also other producers in Limpopo province, in Mpumalanga as well. And we can see that they are doing a very good job when it comes to the rose geranium, good quality and sustainable as well. Organic certified with permits in place. I've got producers in KwaZulu-Natal who are very proud of these farmers. They have been organically certified for almost 3 generations now, and this is the main crops: lemon-scented tea tree, and eucalyptus. We have also got producers in the Free State doing world-class rose oil. We're doing Artemisia afra and rosemary, as you can see that. And on the bottom right, we also have mechanization of the Tajet, which is a very, very popular oil to put in perfumes. This farmer is also organic. He's an engineer by profession, so we can see really a lot of good oils coming from this farm in this part of the country on the foots of the Lesotho Mountains. And then we have realized without volume, we don't have a voice. So we get our commercial farmers to support the emerging farmers so that we can get to the volumes that the world wants. And you can see at the background, people are really working together in world-class size equipment. And it's a success story that we see here. This farmer is also in the Free State. He is harvesting indigenous crops like Artemisia afra. During COVID, it was a lifesaver. A lot of people who did not have any employment actually got employed, and they are still with this producer that we see there. He started with rosehip and is also now including this indigenous, beautiful Artemisia afra, the COVID saver. And then we have got a lot of conferences that we offer. We do training for our people. We have newsletters, we have networking. And during our exhibitions and trade fairs, we actually share what our experiences on our conferences. We exhibit that. We just had a third conference now. And this is what we do. We open our hearts and we open our hands, we give, and that is how we are able to share. What we did in one of our first conferences is we had this logo that we want to do more and we want to do it better and we want it together. And we had the government, the industry and the academia coming together for that. Then we also did exhibitions at the African Bio Trade Fair. All the organic products were exhibited. That was very, very successful. And we see more and more producers coming to the fore, but we also need more and more buyers. We have got a website where you are welcome to ask any questions. You're also welcome to join us if you want to and be part of this big essential oil and vegetable oil family. During the second conference, our motto was New Horizons and Innovations. And then the last one is just passed. We said East, West, home is best. And we are saying that we've got a lot of stuff at home that we can offer since we are also the winner in other areas, not just in sport. So more better together is still what we want to do in the future. This is our strength. We have got the research technology, the quality control, the entrepreneurship, and we can serve that with sunshine and smiles. Looking forward to dealing with you, and you're welcome for any questions. Thank you, Daniel, for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Karen, for the great work that you're doing, especially within our communities. And yeah, you and your team are doing quite amazing work within the space. And we're looking forward, to having some of your companies there at the Organic and Natural Expo in Dubai for them to be able to access this lucrative market. Thank you so much, Karen, and then we will engage as we go along. Colleagues, our next speaker will be Mr. Matthew Pakis from Saoso, and then he will take us through his presentation. Over to you, my dear brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Daniel, and good day, colleagues. Good to be here, and thanks for the opportunity to talk about the organic sector in South Africa. So the South African Organic Sector Organization was founded by 4 government departments, including the DTI in 2008. It has been quite a long road, I must be honest. To get the sector going requires multiple interventions within the value chain. So we are culminating in the establishment of the SAOSO Foundation, which is more of the operational and fundraising arm to get the Southern African organic sector body and network formalized and established. Yeah, we're an NPC, PBO, and our main objective is resilient and eco-sensitive and biodiverse food systems for sustainable development in South Africa. Now also focusing on Southern through our collaboration with our other country partners. Our mission is to really facilitate the transition to ecologically sound and sustainable systems of agriculture through training, skills development, participatory research, innovation, program development, and maintaining the ecological practices, outreach and knowledge exchange, advocacy and policy development. very important, the policy development component of it. And then the awareness and communication, as well as facilitating trade through market participation and active stakeholder engagement. Some of our core achievements after we were founded by government in 2008. Our biggest achievement, I suppose, to date is for the registration of the South African Standard for Organic Production and Processing. It was included in IFOAM's family in 2015. Shortly after that, we embarked on a cross-continental project that was funded by GIZ to really establish the organic network in the Southern African region. And we have been working consistently in the background. Not many know of us yet, but I think we're getting some good traction now that we've got a standard and certification happening locally. Of course, the export market is really significant, and export potential into the Middle East is something that we have been looking at. But we are quite excited to be working closely with the African Union around the Ecological Organic Agricultural Initiative, which has been seeded for Southern, East, West, and North. So we would be leading the Southern African work. Some of our core goals here: secure sufficient funding. Of course, the sector and the overhaul of the food system required for it to be a real fulcrum in our GDP requires a lot of resourcing. Promoting transparency and integrity in the organic value chain locally and for export. And the way that we are doing that is through local certification schemes such as PGS, which is in alignment with our SASO standard, working closely with emerging farmers to get them export ready. It's a process, especially when you're working with emerging farmers from scratch. We're also engaging with regional and international partners to ensure that we've got enough support to see the growth of the sector over the next 10 to 20 years. And then, of course, promoting the maximum benefits of organic agriculture, which we know is not only economic. There are a lot of ecological benefits. You know, the health of the soil is something that we are globally grappling with. Our current trajectory as planet Earth, if we continue with our farming, is less than 60 years. We've got 60 years of topsoil left. So ensuring that we shift our production practice to address the sustainable development goals is a really important task, not only as Southern Africa, but globally. This is why the SDGs have been developed. And of course, agroecology, organic agriculture at large address several of these SDGs, as you can see by that picture. This is how we operate, just for those who would like a little bit more deeper dive into the operational component of the organic sector. We've got 6 strategic pillars that we operate to: strategy, governance and implementation being one, training, research and extension, a very important piece, especially when tipping over government extension services who are fully entrenched in FISP. Advocacy and communication is crucial to the development of organics, the brands, the companies, making sure that we can work in collaboration with each other. And really where the crux of export lies is in the value chain and market development. The setup of a regional trade desk, which can start scoping opportunities from the Southern African region into other export markets. Networks and partnerships is a really crucial piece. There are many organizations, such as some of the colleagues that have just presented, that would ultimately form part of this growing network to establish organic agriculture in the region. Strategy, program development and innovation. That's really where the programs that we are developing as SALSO are being rolled out and monitored and designed. And of course, the big thing that makes export possible is the fact that we have standards and certification schemes developing not only for South Africa, but the Southern African region, working closely with certifying bodies like Control Union to make sure that we can drop the cost of certification for organic producers. That's often one of the big hurdles. Just to give a realistic overview of the organic sector, there are some significant policy gaps in the SADC region that don't really allow for organic agriculture or agroecology to develop. Addressing those is paramount to having a successful sector develop over the next decade. Unfortunately, the organic policy sits in its 10th draft and has been stalled for close on a decade. We are consistently lobbying government in South Africa as well as the Southern African region to look at how best to create an enabling policy environment. Another one of the big challenges is the registration of biological inputs at the registrar's office. And as we know, organic is seen to be a niche sector, but it's definitely gaining hold globally. You can see how the growth of the organic sector on an African level is really significant. So looking at how best to service that. And then when you look to other African countries like Kenya, Uganda, that have really taken the leap to promulgating organic policy, you can see how organic agriculture can play a significant export contributor to the overall GDP of the country. And then, of course, extension services are linked with that. But there are many, many opportunities in the organic sector. I think that this is where when we collectively put our minds to it, we can move mountains, working at a SADC level to enhance the policy environment. There's ongoing engagements at the Parliamentary Forum for SADC to adopt enabling policy that allows for these trade mechanisms to develop. Of course, supporting the expansion of the EOAI, which is the Ecological Organic Agricultural Initiative with the African Union. That's one of the biggest programs that the African Union have put down on paper, linked to the post-Malabo Declaration. And this is something significant for the continent of Africa. And we should really put our minds to how to best leverage that and unlock the potential within the EOA. One of the big things that we've identified as the sector is the establishment of a strategic coordinated trade desk. There are too many commodity trades that fall through the gaps, and having an established trade desk would really enhance the ability for us to export and import product from the region. And then, of course, one of the big ones is harmonizing standards across the region, utilizing the work that the International Federation of Organic Agricultural Movements has founded as the set of production standards, and then to collectively look at certification schemes with local certifying bodies to enhance the uptake of organic standards. And then consistently linked to that is the government education and awareness around organic agriculture and agroecology. And at SASO, we've got several programs that we've started, engaging with emerging producers as our primary focus, really getting them ready for export, which is a 3 to 5 year process. So in order to see more product flowing abroad, really putting in the work at the grassroots level with emerging farmers, getting them more astute with their business practices, certification, record keeping, etc. So we are really broadening up and hoping to reach that plus minus 2 million emerging farmers that do lie in South Africa, many of them practicing organic, indigenous production and natural forms of production, and they just need a little bit of skills transfer. And of course, partnerships is a really integral part of how we're going to see this expand over the years. And before we're really addressing the export potential, it's really important to make sure that our local food security is addressed, as we have one of the most unequal food systems in the world. So yes, there's massive opportunities for exports of certain products, and we welcome that opportunity to get into East Africa. As some of the colleagues have touched on, essential oils as being a big one, as well as the export of raw produce and animals across there. And just to show some of our strategic partners that we've managed to leverage and to work with over the last while. You'll see there's some big logos there. But yeah, we continue to grow. And our call to action is to work closely with the DTI and Westgrow to develop the organic sector in South Africa. There's a number of other stakeholders that aren't mentioned there that are important stakeholders in the overarching sector. Establishing policy frameworks in South Africa and other African countries to expand the sector, networking across the region to establish a trade desk, as mentioned, and working at a SADC level to harmonize policy, and to secure international and regional funding sources to see the sector grow. So if you would like to contact us, please do. Our website is there, www.saoso.org. There's my personal email address. And then we've got an info@thesaosofoundation.org. Once again, thanks again for the opportunity to get the awareness out there, and we will hopefully see you soon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Matt. You are also doing an amazing work here within the sector. And we really, really excited to see the work that you're doing. The impact, it's quite massive. I like the fact that, you've also mentioned about the SDG, the SDGs that you guys are working with, as well as, how we also achieve great work with, through the SDGs. And I know SDG number 17, is talking about partnerships for the goals. So where we need to really make sure that, we do partnerships and we work towards working together in making sure that we achieve these SDGs, which are just around the corner, Yeah, so thank you so much, Matt. And we are going to release Ms. Tony Kruger as she's flying out to London in the next few hours. So before we let Tony Kruger to leave, I just want her to answer one question for us and also to leave us with some parting words. Tony, your question will be, what factors should exporters consider when pricing their products competitively in the MENA market? That's the question that we've prepared for you, and then you can quickly answer that question, and then from there we can release you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, and thank you to all the colleagues for accommodating the request, and thanks for the opportunity, Daniel. I think what really would be important in terms of looking at, when pricing your products is really to look at the market conditions. So you've got to look at the demand and competitiveness. You've also got to look at the economic stability and currency fluctuations in the market, and then also look at the regional trade agreements, because you could benefit from a double taxation agreement with some of the markets. If you're looking at the cost of distribution and market entry when pricing, it's important to look at the import tariffs and duties. It's very important to look at the logistics and shipping costs, because that can make or break your business case. And then also your regulatory compliance, I think, is important. So firstly, local market conditions, and then cost of the distribution, I think, is key. I mentioned earlier looking at consumer preferences, because, there are some price sensitivities as well. And it's important to look at brand perception and also quality differentiation, and cultural relevance, I think, is very important in terms of consumer preferences. Because that also affects your pricing. And then when you're looking at exchange rate management, you've got to look at forward contracting or currency hedging, to help mitigate exchange risks. And then when you're looking at competitive pricing, I mentioned already, you've really got to look at the regional versus the global competition. You must benchmark it against regional producers, for example, Turkey and Egypt, and then also some of your global competitors. I think your European, your American, and your Chinese companies specifically as well. And then when looking at your payment terms and financing, you've got to look at your payment terms and currency. So look at flexible payment terms, perhaps in some cases, where liquidity is a challenge, or either pricing in different currencies as well can also be attractive depending on the preferences of your client. I think it really depends on your clients. And then looking at the cost of financing, you can look at things like longer payment terms that can be included in your pricing structure, especially for South African exporters, because it can be quite expensive. And then you've got to also, when you're doing your pricing, you've really also got to look at the marketing and advertising for your product in that market. The promotional costs must be factored into the price as well, because it's also key to let people know about your product. I think those are the main takeaways. So really local market conditions, looking at the cost of distribution, looking at your consumer preferences, your exchange rate management, competitive pricing, payment terms, and then marketing and promotional costs. There's quite a lot to think of, but I think those are the main points with regards to that. Thanks, Daniel.
You've really taken us through exactly what we need to do, and I believe we really need to take time as well to educate our emerging exporters, into addressing all those points that we have mentioned. But I believe at some point we'll have a session where we take our exporters through that. And just in closing, you can just give us your parting words, and then we can release you. Thank you so much for taking your time, even though you're flying out, to come through. So I'll just give you 1 minute to wrap up. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. We are here to assist you with information on products, specifically looking at value chain and also sector. We have got good search engines that can assist, and that is available to our clients. So I think from an information perspective, key to look at that. We do also have export promotion and development programs that we are presenting. We are going to have a great program, I think, during our Trade and Investment Conference, 11th and 12th of November. So if you do have the ability to participate, that would be great. And then also, yeah, I mean, in terms of the factors that we mentioned, we have got teams to help you per product as well. So keen to disclose if there is interest to work with us further. I will leave my contact details in the chat box. So thank you very much, and thank you also to the other presenters. Very interesting to hear what you are doing in specific sectors, and what issues need to be lobbied as well. I think that would be key. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tony. And yeah, travel safe, and then we will definitely be chatting soon, and also making sure that we add value to our exporters. And we also will be keen, to see TIKZN, presented as well, or represented at the upcoming expo in Dubai. I know it will be shortly after your session on the 11th to the 12th. And also let's prepare as well, even for the next year session that we'll be doing the same event. Last on our panel, I'm going to invite Mr. Mutapo Mahlatse from the DTIC to take us through their export incentives, so that we can understand the value that the DTIC is offering our exporters, and also how we can tap into those opportunities for us to get our products into different markets through the export incentives that the DTIC is offering to our exporters. And over to you, Mr. Mutapo, then you can take us through your presentation. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you very much, Mr. Daniel Mutswana, for this opportunity and the invite. My name is Martha Mutapo from the DTIC, as introduced. There is something here. Yes. All right. I am from the incentive branch, and the incentive branch is a unit within the DTIC that administer all the DTIC incentives schemes that we offer to the industry. So these are some of the incentives that we offer from the 5 clusters. But for the benefit of today's session, my focus was going to be on the 4th cluster, which is the export promotion cluster. But based on what the previous presenters have highlighted and the background that they come from, I think it will do justice to also touch on the manufacturing investment cluster in terms of the support that we have for this industry. So we do have what we call the agro-processing support scheme under the manufacturing cluster. Under this one, we are focusing on the agro-processing activities, and we have about 6 subsectors that we support the industry with, of which some of them is a food and beverage. We also support the agro-processing through the fertilizer production, feed production, essential oil production, and fiber production. So I just wanted to touch on this because of the 3 previous presenters. I see that they come from some of the subsectors that we support here, which the industry can benefit on should they want to set up the agro processing plant or the pack houses and so forth. So in terms of the fourth cluster, where my presentation will be based, which is the export promotion cluster, we have what you call the export marketing and investment assistance, which is EMIA. Then we got the sector specific assistance scheme, which is abbreviated as SAS. Then we got the last one that deals with the feasibility studies, which is the capital project feasibility program. So I will just gonna move quickly due to the time constraint. Under the EMEA, the aim of this financial assistance is to develop exports markets for the South African products and services, and also to recruit new foreign direct investment into the country. The objective of the EMEA is to provide marketing assistance to develop new exports markets and grow the existing exports markets. The second one is to assist with the identification of the new exports markets through the market research, and also to assist companies to increase their competitive by supporting patent registration, quality marks, and the product marks. The fourth one is to assist with the facilitation to grow foreign direct investment through the missions and the FDI research. Lastly, is to increase the contribution of Black-owned businesses and the SMEs to the South African economy. We have the second financial assistance also under the EMEA, which we call the primary market research and foreign direct investment. The aim for this one is to compensate the exporters for the cost incurred recruiting in new foreign direct investment into the country, which is SA, through the personal contact by visiting potential investors in foreign countries. The last one is what we call the individual inwards missions. And the aim for this one is to assist the South African entities organizing an inward buying investor to make contact with them to conclude an exporter's order or to attract foreign direct investment. So these are the incentives that we have under EMEA. And we are targeting the South African services and manufactured products across all sectors. In terms of the incentive offerings, on the far right, these are some of the financial supports that the DTI can cover as per all the three categories under the individual exhibition participation. These are some of the things that we can cover, like your return fare, your subsistence allowance, and the rental of vehicle, transportation of the samples, physical or visual exhibition cost, the marketing materials, and we also have the additional financial support for people living with disability. Then under the primary market research, these are the things that we cover on the right-hand side. Then we also have what we call the individual inward missions, and these are the three items that we'll cover under the individual inward missions. Then lastly, we have what we call the group missions and the national pavilions. Under this one, normally the DTI is the one that will issue the list of the missions or the national pavilions that they are going to host, and they will invite the industry and the associations to apply for its members. So these are some of the mandatory conditions that one need to meet in order to apply for this financial assistance. One of each is that the company must be registered in South Africa in terms of the CIPC, and it should be a going concern that has traded for at least one financial year. Also be in good standing with SARS and comply with the triple BEE, which is between level 1 to level 8 status in terms of the BEE Code of Good Practice. And when applying for this financial assistance, the application should be submitted to the DTIC at least 3 to 6 months before the commencement date of the event. This is simply to allow the DTIC to perform its due processes and for the application to be able to go through each stages up until the approval is issued or the decision is communicated. In terms of eligible entities, we are looking at the entities that are manufacturing products or providing services within South Africa, and those that support the DTIC priority sectors. And we are also looking into the entities that outsource their manufacturing process within the South Africa. The third one, we are also looking at the South African export trading houses and commission agents representing at least 3 local manufacturing and or service entities. The last one is the South African Exports Council, industrial associations, and joint action groups that are representing at least 5 of its members. The second incentive, we have what we call the sector-specific assistance scheme. Then in terms of the incentive offerings, this is a 80 to 20% cost sharing grant that is done on a reinvestment basis. The 80% will represent the DTI portion, then the 20% is what should be cost shared by the applicant. In terms of the emerging exporters, we can fund 100% of the cost up to the maximum of 1.9 million per project. These are the eligible entities for the project funding for the emerging exporters. We are looking at the Export Council that are established through the application to the DTIC. And in terms of Section 21, of the non-profit company that represent the developmental and promotional objective of a particular industry or industries on a national level. We are also looking at the industrial association that are representing the sectors or the subsectors of the industry prioritized for the development and promotion by the DTIC. The third one is a provincial investment and economic development agencies. Then we have the business chambers, we have the small enterprise development agency, which is CEDA. We have the local municipalities that can also apply for this. And we also have the metropolitan councils. The last one, under the export promotion, we have what we call the capital project feasibility program. Under this one, I will only gonna touch base on the second element because the first one, which is capital projects, I don't think it will be relevant to this session, but the second one, which is the manufacturing projects, which will include also the agro-processing projects. On this one, it will cover the cost to conduct the feasibility study. We have 50% for those companies or projects that have the total assets that are above 30 million, and we have 30% of the total feasibility study costs for those that are below 30 million. The intention for this is for the companies to conduct a feasibility study for the export market, either to go and set up the operation outside of South Africa, or those who would like to conduct a feasibility study for the expansion, or what you call to diversify their product range for export market. So in terms of the total that one may get for the feasibility study, we are looking at the maximum of 8 million. Then these are my details, my email, my telephone, and cell phone number. And I've also included the website there for the export marketing and investment assistance. So I will end here for now. Thank you. Good day, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mahatse. I think we are waiting for Mr. Daniel to join us. Let's see. So I think while we are waiting for Mr. Daniel to join us, we have a few questions from the audience, and some of them are repetitive. So I'm just clubbing them together, and probably if you can, I will share one of two so that which are the critical ones. So if you can help me answer them. Yeah, but I can see that Mr. Daniel is joining, so probably I will hand over the floor to him then. Hi, Daniel, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. It just I got disconnected on the other line, so I'm rejoining on the because I got reconnected. Yeah, so I've just reconnected. Mr. Mutapo, thank you so much for the presentation that you shared with us. Really, our government in South Africa is really doing quite a lot to support our exporters and our companies. And we really would like to see us getting us involved, with this UAE market for us to get access and to help our companies to get access to this market through the partnership that we'd like to have with the DTIC on this market that we're working on to access. So thank you so much. I wanted to, if you can just give me some few minutes, maybe whilst we do that, I'll be asking questions to all of you, the panelists, for you to take us through the questions that we prepared so that we can then go towards wrapping up our session. Just please give me 1 minute for me to get this sorted. Okay. Yes, I think I'm on now.
Recording in progress.
Okay, so I'm going to leave this one. Great. Yes, great stuff. So we are sorted. I had a challenge just with my other device, so I wanted to just share a little bit what we do as Africa Rising, as I was introduced. So I don't know if I'll be able to go through my presentation here, and okay. Is my screen, can you see my screen, colleagues?
Yes.
Yes, okay. I don't have, I want to see how I take it on a presentation mode. It's fine. I'll just take it through a little bit about what we do in this presentation. I'm just going to make it short. In fact, I made it an MP4, and it was just going to take 2 minutes, but I'll just explain through what we do as a company. So our company is Africa Rising, and then our story began in 2018. And then our project is aligned with the 15 of the 17 UN SDGs. We also aligned with Agenda 2063. And the reason why we involved in this, that there's quite a lot of opportunities within the oyster mushroom industry, where the oyster mushroom market is projected to 60.93 billion by 2024, and then this will expected also to rise by 7% to 90.7 billion. And then I've got some of the opportunities there, or the health benefits of the oyster mushrooms, and also these are just some of the work that we've done within the country. Even here, where we see quite a lot of the youth coming into the program as well. And we also, showcasing there some of the sessions that we've been doing where we offer, practical and information sessions, and also the theory sessions as well. These are some of the work that we've done within the country and outside the country as well, including those. And then, these are some of the success stories that we can see. These are some of the product brands that we producing that we also would like to see, accessing the market, the UAE market. This is one of our flagship projects or product that we that we have recently launched and also patenting, where it will also be where our people will have immense access to producing this product. This matrix is going to give me some problem. Okay, and then thank you, Lord. This is one of the flagship products where we produce eco-friendly houses from the mushroom waste. This is some of the visits that we did, international visits that we did, and some of the international trips that we did for going to do some of the research around mushrooms. And then those are some of the excursions. We also bring in the youth through music into our project, and also the agritourism as well. The strong partnership that we have created within India, and that's when we were signing some of the deals within India and different media coverages. And these are some of the achievements that we've got. Of course, my presentation will be shared, and then this is our team, and also our board of directors from different countries that actually are also opening up markets for us in different countries as well. And yeah, and that's just a little bit of a message there to encourage ourselves. And then there is will be our contact details. Yeah, so I just wanted to quickly share a little bit of what we're doing, and then I would like to go on to the questions. The first one will go to Karen Swanepoel. Your question that we have prepared for you. Okay, Karen, what we want to ask you, the question that we want to ask you is, what are the current opportunities and challenges that the South African suppliers looking to export within the MENA region and new market entrants should consider? So you may answer that question for us. Karen, over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Yes, and thank you for the question. It's always good to know people are thinking about our challenges, but let us start with the opportunities. And I do think the fact that we can offer organic certified products of very high quality is a great opportunity for us to compete with our competitors. And the fact that we have standards in place with certificates of analysis really puts us, in a different league. Of course, there's always the challenges that we have. And at this stage, we see the challenges in the costs of, in reality, the costs of production, the fluctuation of the currencies. You can't really plan, you always have to estimate. And then there's increasing regulations coming from Europe, which makes us, it puts us in a very difficult position. For every regulation you have to follow and get certification, it's extra costs. So
sorry, Karen. Yeah, you may put on your camera. Thank you.
Okay. I'm trying. Okay, here you go. Thanks, Daniel. Yes, and then also, the fact that there's regulations coming from Europe, it makes it very, very difficult for our people to afford the certification for all those regulations. As soon as you've covered the one, the next one pops up. So it's an ongoing thing, and it's very expensive, for our people. The fact that we can intercrop, which means you can keep your crop that you are doing for cash flow and plant the essential oils with that, makes it that you get a double a benefit from your land. And the essential oils is also planted as an intercropping option because it acts as a pesticide. And at the moment, the aromatherapy industry is really expanding. A lot of people are very, very depressed after COVID, and people are also using now certified organic and natural products like essential oils in veterinary products. As you know, we are not allowed to use a lot of antibiotics in the food industry anymore for the animals. So we can really see that there's definitely challenges, but there's more opportunities. And that is what we like to do. We have seen in the past a lot of people being able to make a plan, and that's also one of our strengths. Just we go out and make a plan, doesn't matter what happens. You just get over it and we carry on. We hope to make full use of the opportunity and turn every challenge into another opportunity. Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you, Karen. Yeah, you've really nailed that. And, there's always challenges that we come across, and then we always have to navigate, through all those challenges. And I believe, also the funding as well, especially for getting our products certified, for different markets is quite a very important thing that we need to look into, because I believe South Africa has got quite a great opportunity of high quality products. Our standards and everything for us is quite on point. We are a country that has got quite a lot of, in fact, number one when it comes to indigenous plants, that we want to see commercialized, and that is the space that you guys are working in. So yeah, so we really looking forward to making sure that we go through and we get success in everything that we're doing. Thank you so, Karen. Our next question will go to Matthew. Matthew, your question is, how does a brand effectively communicate its commitment to integrity and authenticity to consumers in the MENA market? Yeah, so that is the question that it's posed to you, Mr. Matthew. You can go over. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, it's a good question, and I think many of the companies and brands that have chosen the organic path need to tell the story, because the consumers globally are growing in awareness around how products are grown, sourced, and really telling the why behind organic agriculture, I think is a huge leveraging tool for brands to really communicate, their product, their value proposition, to a global audience, which is starting to become much more aware of the harmful effects of pesticides and synthetic fertilizers. And then, often many of these products are linked with a rich story around the indigenous production style, honoring the roots of a product, such as medicinal herbs or essential oils. Many of them are used medicinally by cultures for millennia, for hundreds of years, and really leaning on that, I think is quite a strong element to look at. And then, of course, ensuring that your organic claims are indeed organic claims, that you've got the verification behind it, that you do go through the certification mechanisms, of course, quite costly in many ways, but of course the upside of the market is there, and I think it's really up to industry bodies and collaborators to drop that cost of certification. And then, of course, traceability being a big piece. How you can actually be fully traceable through your supply chain, where you source from, how it's agro-processed and sold. And just bringing transparency to that process often gets consumers really excited about a brand or product that's new. I would say those would be the key takeaways for me there, Daniel. Thank you.
Awesome, Matthew. Yeah, that's those are the very key points that we're looking into. And maybe my follow-up question to you is traceability, because that's one of the main things that we need to look into. Especially, we're looking into products that people are going to consume or use on their skin or everywhere else. So what are the key things that one needs to do in terms of a traceability? What are the systems that are out there for one to look into?
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. It's a great question. Look, I mean, there are a number of platforms that are being developed in the ag tech space. A number of them that are already showing good traction with traceability. And often one of the most complicated things is the aggregated value chain. So in the context of essential oils, organic produce, agro-processed goods, is that you have to aggregate them from multiple producers and ensure that, separation at processing, if you are aggregating conventional in there as well, is adhered to. But yeah, I mean, there isn't a fully baked platform that I've seen on the market at the moment that addresses all of the traceability challenges, especially with livestock. We see in the context of South Africa, it costs the South African government close on 2 billion around foot and mouth disease and livestock traceability, which it's a massive thing. And there are some great minds working on it, but it's emerging. I think that there's still a lot of work to do around full-scale traceability in supply chains, especially for the aggregated value chain.
Yeah, in your presentation, you talked a little bit about the policy and the challenges around policy development and everything else. In closing, maybe can you just wrap up a little bit about that point?
Yeah, it's a big piece to debate. I think at the end of the day, the political will has to be there in order to pass policy. And at the end of the day, what shifts policymakers is the economic incentive. And I think it's just really about, getting across that economic bottom line incentive to say that there is a viable organic value chain that wants to emerge. I mean, we see it on the ground. There are so many, there's thousands, tens of thousands of producers that want to get into the organic value chain, but, just need a little bit of technical support. So lobby effort across the board. I mean, in the Southern African region, there are some countries leading the way, like Tanzania has passed organic, Mauritius has passed organic, Uganda, and you can see what's that happened for their agricultural economy. It's just booming. So it's logical at the end of the day, but we hope to see that the powers that be see the potential within the sector and then grant us policy so we can do our job properly.
Awesome. No, thank you so much, Matthew. And we also excited, about the launch of the agriculture and agro-processing master plan, which I believe, when well implemented, we see that there's quite a lot of achievement that we can. I think that was one of the greatest movement in the right place, and we're looking forward, to really getting involved and making sure that we get some of these policies implemented successfully, because the main thing we want to see our communities being empowered and also the economy of our country as well being risen up. So thank you so much, Matthew. Thank you so much. Our next question will go to Tando. Tando, your question is, how can digital marketing and e-commerce channels be leveraged to reach conscientious consumers effectively in the MENA region? So the use of technology and e-commerce, how can it be well leveraged for us to access the MENA region, market access into the MENA region? So that will be your question. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks, Daniel. I think the first thing would be to identify your conscious consumer, right, in the region, to implement in your digital marketing and e-commerce strategies. So you must identify the unique cultural, environment, and ethical concerns, meaning that you must understand, if you keep these three, you must have sustainable focused messaging in these three things. You must look at their ethical practices. What are their business ethics there? Also, since we are talking about organic We look what is eco-friendly sourcing, fair labor practices, charitable initiatives, and also what resonates with the local community. And also you promote your social good. So we've seen that work here in South Africa with the gift of the givers. So maybe it could be something which is strong with them there as well. Also your certification, is it eco-friendly? Does it promote sustainable certifications, fair trade? Is it organic? You know, all these things must be in your digital campaigns. You must emphasize these things. Obviously, localized content, the cultural sensitivity things, you know, what do people frown upon? Also, focus on their core local values. Look at their religious observances, maybe things like Ramadan, key holidays. Align your marketing with those things, you know. Also, maybe family and charity is something which is important. Strengthen that community trust. So you align your marketing and your product towards that. Obviously, the language as well. The language, you obviously want to use Arabic there, website ads, your social media content as also has to be available also in Arabic, you know, to reflect that brand commitment to the local community, the local market, and also to be accessible to them as well. And identify influencers like local influencers, social media influencers that will support the sustainability and, you know, healthy living, ethical consumption, and also this will give you endorsement from the people to show that your brand is aligned with your conscious, you know, as the consumer. Obviously, you must be also transparent. Okay, everyone's interested in storytelling. You must have some form of story because consumers now they buy into the story more than the product. It's more the why than the product sometimes, you know. So you must have a story to tell that positive change or environmental protection or things like that. If you're trying to promote healthy, conscious eating, if you're promoting organic, and then also you must be show transparency, authenticity as well. These you can use through social media to open dialogue. You know, these are very useful on Instagram, Facebook. Also show some of the behind the scenes things that you're making, how your products are made, how they shipped. Also the companies, how do they contribute now to carbon footprint if people are interested in that. And also obviously consumer education. This is how you educate them also through these platforms, you know, create blogs, videos, podcasts, so that they can decide to choose your brand. Why must they go for this brand, etc. And obviously now we're going into green energy. So green e-commerce, how do you deliver these things? Is it carbon neutral shipping? Is there sustainable packaging options? You know, how do you contribute to this? And also your product to gain trust. What is the certification of the product? Like you must show that so that the people know that, okay, these people have ethics and things like that. And to promote them to come back more and more, you must have loyalty programs. That resonates and speak to the eco-friendly or the organic things that you're talking about. You know, that rewards them when they buy, you offer discounts, donations, and also their purchase, they must feel like their purchase contributes towards the future, you know, something which is positive for the future. And also, you must target the ads as well, you know, personalize them. Now we have things like AI, you know, AI driven. So personal where you follow the customer to show their interest, you know, personal ads on social media, Google, will highlight the products and also use data-driven insights. All these tools are there to analyze, to put in your products, adjust them according to your target market. And also you'll be able to segment an email list where you will send to the relevant people. So we do have those AI technology now. Even us ourselves, we have a product, Smart Sesleys, which does all these things for you. Your CRM is able to target each and every customer in terms of what is it that they do, what is their interest, what is it that they do. It is able to create social media content, which is targeted to the relevant people. So within the MENA region, I'd say you have to maybe target ethical practices, you know, that do not that do not harm the politics or the religious side of things, but resonates with the family and society. Yeah, that's
Yeah. Okay. No, thank you so much, Mr. Matutu. And I believe these are services and that Agropreneur SA, could be also take out there so that people can be ready for any kind of markets. And really would love to see Agropreneur SA, participating in the exhibition with some of the companies that we're working with within this exhibition that we're preparing for. So thank you so much. In the last question, I'll pose it to Mr. Mahlatse. Thank you for the information that you've shared with us with all the opportunities that are there within the DTIC. And we really want to see us getting so much involved with you on the programs that you are offering. My question to you is, how important is ensuring a compliant supply chain, and what steps should companies take to guarantee integrity from sourcing to distribution in the MENA markets? Yeah, over to Mr. Mahlatse, just very briefly, and then thereafter we'll be wrapping up, and then maybe if there are some questions from the floor, we are running a little bit out of time, and then from there you can even, when you finish answering your question, maybe you can do your closing remarks already. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for the question. The compliance to us is very much important, which
Yeah,
is
you may switch your camera on.
Is it
Thank
on?
you, sir.
All right, thank you. As the DTI, we do value the compliance requirement, which is why if you look at our financial supports, they are rule-based, and each one of the financial assistance, it got its own rules. So it is very much important for the applicants to comply to those rules. Because once they comply to that, I will say 90% of the challenges will be addressed. Because how we adjudicate the projects, we are using the guidelines, and we use one guidelines for all, which is what we call universal rules or universal guidelines. So once you comply with the requirements for funding, I don't see why the project won't be successful in terms of funding. And the other thing, this is the compliance on the side of the DTIC, but we also want the projects to comply with with their sector. All the rules or the legislations that govern their sector, we also want them to comply with that. For instance, if you are into food and beverages, there are some of the compliance certificates that you need to meet, and also on the product itself, which is why we always value that whoever apply here, you will first tick whatever the legislation that govern your sector before you can even apply to us. But what I liked about today's session is I got to understand different roles that the associations or the industry representatives that were here today, the role that they play. Because now I understand that those who need compliance with certain things, where we can refer them to. Because like sometimes we deal with manual applications here from all the value chains, those that are at the developmental stage, those that are at a secondary stage, those that are at a tertiary. But we always struggle to refer them to the relevant organizations that can assist them with compliance, especially because if you look at the DTI, we are more on the last phase of this whole chain, whereby when you apply, we expect you to comply with everything, all the rules. Then ours is just to provide funding. So once you comply, then we can be able to focus on our work, which is evaluation of the project proposals that come to us. Then from there, then we can be able to move at a faster speed in terms of the financial support. As a parting shot or my closing remarks, I just want to thank the organizers of this session here. At first, when I got the invite from yourself, I did not know what to expect, but I'm really much impressed with the whole setup of this session. And I am looking forward to engaging with you guys further and also on some of the workshops that you intend to roll out. Then we'll be happy to avail ourselves to come and give the presentation to our members on this financial support that we have as a DTI to the industry. Thanks very much.
Thank you, sir. And yeah, no, we really glad that you came on board and for you to come and give us so much information about. I know you didn't cover quite a lot, but you covered specifically for what we are aiming at for the session. And yes, those partnerships, as we talked about, UN Sustainable Development Goal Partnership number 17. Goal number 17. We really prefer and really enjoy, working in partnership, because that's the only way that we can really go forward as a country and as a nation. Yeah, thank you so much. I'll ask Shinu to come on board just to take us through the whole event, the 18th to the 20th, and also share with us some of the achievements that you guys have achieved through this, and then so that our exporters can see the value of them being part of this initiative. Thank you so much. Over to you, Shinu.
Surely, Mr. Motswani, what a panel, right? Of course, before I conclude my remarks, my concluding remarks, especially about the show to South African exporters, would be that we understand. We have been running this event in Dubai for the last 22 years in Dubai World Trade Center. So we have, this year, we have suppliers coming from around 73 countries. So you can imagine the kind of potential that Dubai, UAE, and the rest of the GCC countries are presenting in front of South African exporters, right? Because, like 94% of all the products that we use here in the region, in the Arab countries, are being imported. So which means the market has got a high sense of reliability on exporters like South Africa for be it essential oil, be it herbs and spices, be it fresh and perishable goods, be it healthy products like moringa powder, all of this, right? So this is exactly the reason, we have arranged with your support and other support this masterclass so that, the exporters understand and realize the potential. At the same time, we understand that, okay, it's not a 3-day affair wherein, you catch a flight, jump into a flight and come to Dubai and attend a show for 3 days and, you get all of it, right? No, We understand. So what we typically do is, unlike other events that everybody is used to, what we do is that we have changed or shifted from a 3-day event into a 365-day export promotion activity. So that would mean that to each and every exporter who is coming on board, we suggest who are the right people that they should be speaking to, so that every month we help them, getting them closer to the market. And then throughout the year, we accelerate, we promote their products in the market so that, you know, their product has got some sense of visibility and trust is being created. And of course, you know, while they come, when they are there in Dubai for the show, for the event, we guarantee some meetings with some of our VIP buyers so that, you know, they can get closer to making a partnership or a deal. So this is in a nutshell, like how we try to help South African exporters get into the Arabian market, right? Or the GCC market for that matter. And why Dubai is important, as everybody knows. 54% of everything that is imported into Dubai is further being re-exported. So the re-export market, the value, the size of that is much, much higher. So this is how you effectively reach larger markets within the geographical region, like, you know, be it Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Oman, all these countries, all these nearby markets. So this is our this is what we can do, and how differently we are able to help South African exporters, right? So if I may take this opportunity also to say, you know, thank you, Daniel. Thank you to all my panelists. It was wonderful to have you all share your thoughts, insights, knowledge with all of us today. I would like to thank our attendees for tuning in today to be part of this discussion. I hope there is a thing or two, I'm sure, that they'll be taking back with them. This means South Africa would benefit from increasing its market share, something that is only possible through targeted promotion and marketing of products, along with, of course, government support. We have got Mr. Mahatse and others here for support so that, you know, Middle Eastern countries to address any remaining phytosanitary barriers for South African products in these countries. As far as the Organic and Natural Product Expo in Dubai, we've got more than 600 exhibitors have already confirmed, and probably, you know, we are just in the process of confirming the last 100 plus companies. We expect around 15,000, over 15,000 B2B visitors from around 72 countries to attend the event. This year's expo scheduled to take place between 18 to 20 November. The Dubai World Trade Center is an ideal platform to showcase natural supplements, probiotics, and nutraceuticals, F&B, beauty products. You can see, like, you know, it's like anything and everything, you know, like that when we talk about organic, bio, natural, all of that, right? So of course, you know, to know more about the event, or if you have got you know, any questions about this particular panel, please, you may write to us at info@organicandnatural.com. So we as organizers will be happy to assist you. But in the meanwhile, I would want to say thank you once again, all of you, and have a wonderful afternoon, evening ahead.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Before you go off, parallel to this organic and natural expo, there will be the agri-tech event as well, that expo that will be happening. Can you just share a little bit highlight about the agri-tech exhibition that will be happening parallel to this one?
We have got thank you, Daniel. We have got I mean, the event has got multi-pillars, right? So what we call as tier one. So we have got food and beverages, we have got beauty and cosmetics, we have got health and wellness. So we have got agriculture technology, we have got fresh and perishable, tea and coffee. So there are multiple pillars, right? So of course, as you know that, you know, I mean, we live in a region where in open, you know, open land or open air farming has got its limitations. So that's when, you know, we get into controlled environment. And of course, if you look at the last 2 to 3 years, even from the government side, open field farming has been really being promoted and you know, supported by the government. So you might have heard that's not an experiment in full-fledged farming. So all of this requires involvement of be it software technology, be it about controlling climate, hardware, software, all of that, right? So what we do is, along with the show, we also have added since last year a particular section wherein we are inviting all those key producers of technology and enablers of technology, including startup companies, to come in and showcase themselves so that they can break into this market. So, that's where we are trying as a whole, as an event. We want to ensure that we are bringing all those elements under one roof so that, we are eventually not only helping the exporters, but also develop and achieve food security, which is of utmost priority for, GCC and Arabian countries in this market. Thank you.
No, that's really quite great. And I believe, our companies and exporters and our panelists, see the bigger picture, because most of our panelists here represent quite a lot of companies, within the country, and also those that are watching us from neighboring countries as well, to see, the opportunities that are there within the UAE market. I like the fact about the re-exporting as well, which also poses quite a lot of opportunities as well. And also the 365, which is quite massive as well, where we need to see that, we come on board and then we help our companies to access this great market. From our attendees, as on our side, we I've been asking if there's any questions from the panel, from the attendees, but all questions, as you have mentioned, can be sent through the email that you have sent, and also to myself as well. And we, as a company, Africa Rising, we also want to thank you for the opportunity you've granted for us to partner and to make sure that we assist our companies to come through into this great opportunity. So in closing, I would like us to just switch on our cameras and also to take a group photo. But before we do that, I just want to give 1 second, 2 seconds to each panelist to wrap up. Starting with Karen, just 2 seconds, your closing parting words, followed by Tando, and then followed by Matthew. Mr. Matapo has already done his closing remarks. Thank you to you in that order for the next 1 minute. Thank you so much, Karen. As Karen went to have coffee. Okay, there we go, Karen.
Yeah. Hi, Daniel. This is Nana on behalf of Karen. She just went out. She'll be back very soon.
Okay, that's fine, Nana. Yes.